Well, we are into champion select, and we'll see exactly what they do in order to combat this. Legacy, now that they're on the blue side, going to ban away the Twisted Fate. They do not want the counter pick to come out from Fantix there. Of course, very safe to grab that last. Gangplank is going to be picked up, or taken away, sorry, by the Direwolves. Not wanting to see that at Legacy at all. Of course, they have successfully switched that one up quite a lot.
Yeah, Legacy being blue side as well. They're not going to have the last pick, and this is actually big. I will say Direwolves having Fantix with the Assassin option being that red side Fantix pick.
Once again, Corki's going to be banned away by Legacy, so they don't want Fantix to be playing that champion in the mid lane, that's for sure.
Definitely a flex ban there as well, so Raze likes to pick up that champion. Of course, the first time he was very successful on it. It was one of the very early games here, 2016, first split of the OPL. As Kalista is actually going to be taken away. Direwolves not wanted to see King on that, and a lot of respect given to the AD carry of Legacy, formerly of Direwolves.
Yeah, that's actually quite a lot of respect, which I guess brings up the Sivir once again. Direwolves played it. Legacy do want that champion. Is that what they'll go towards, though?
Or is the Gragas, of course,
Exactly.
a little bit too much of a high priority here for Legacy? We're now going to find out, as it is once again, Sivir, top priority here in the draft, and it is going to go straight to King. Of course, definitely a comfort pick, and we'll see whether Direwolves, whether they're going to copy. Of course, Braum now available on the red side.
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that Direwolves will want the Sivir, the Gragas, to take that away from Carbon. Given how last game ended as well, it just felt like he was knocking them towards the team. They just killed a person that he knocked towards them, and the rest were to follow easily. Of course, Direwolves coming into this have been practicing with one defined strategy, you would imagine, that is leaps and bounds above the rest.
Yeah.
The question is, do they stick to what they did in Game 1, or do they fall back to what is Direwolves and their staple?
I'd like them to, honestly. But most of these are like bloodthirsty games.
I'd like to see what they pick up here during their first rotation of picks. Like you mentioned, they have the Gragas available to be picked up. A lot of strong junglers like Nidalee, like Kindred are still available as well, but it does look like they're going to lock in Alistar and Kindred as their next two pickups.
Yeah, so we looked at both of these supports, and you would say that Regret prefers Alistar and Kuden prefers Braum. So that is entirely taking it away from Regret by going for the Alistar. Of course, it does still leave open the flip side champion to be there for Regret. The question is, does he actually want something like a Thresh, perhaps, with that?
Yeah, very interesting. As once again, I mean, we heard from the desk that Kindred was looking like something that was definitely accounted for by Legacy last time around. All of those picks still available, apart from the Kalista. You want
Actually,
Brad?
I've tunneled on it. I just want Brad.
I love the golden bottom lane,
It
man.
actually just smacks Alistar around if they get standard lanes, and Legacy could look towards that, having the Sivir there. Level 1 strength is unrivaled.
Instead, it's going to be Graves and Azir that get picked up by Legacy. So,
Yeah, of course, Azir staying with the golden theme, but the Graves was banned away last game by the Direwolves on the blue side of the Rift.
Yeah.
So Carbon back on comfort, but Tally often plays that one too.
He does indeed, and that's the question. Where is the Graves going to go? Of course, you would imagine Carbon wants Engage, being the shot caller, I will say, for Legacy. So Tally being very capable of split pushing with Graves. Maybe not as survivable as the Echo the first time around, but the team composition that they have so far, at least from Legacy, is damage everywhere.
He's done it! Fantix has picked up the Viger in the mid lane. Now, Rusty, do you want to take us through this particular matchup?
It's defined as the counter to Azir, plain and simple. So what this does, first and foremost, will force Choo-Choo's into going the Abyssal Scepter route and the Cleanse first, as well as his Summoner spells. So leaves him susceptible to a lot of raw damage from other people. Map rotations, you know, everything favors Direwolves if they send anyone else mid. I just think, honestly, you just press R and just destroy Choose. It's just the Veigar special, right? He's an anti-mage, but he's also a control mage with wave clear. So that's what sets Veigar above the rest.
and with that Veigar pickup, they got Lucian as well. And on the side of Legacy, they've got Gragas, and the previously banned Braum will be picked up to round out their team composition.
Yeah, again, no surprises from this Legacy team composition. This is actually, and I'm going to say effectively, everything Legacy want in a team comp, right? So they've got the Engage out of Gragas. They've got the split pushing 1v1 prowess out of Tally on the Graves. Sivir and Braum as a bottom lane duo is disgusting. And they've got Azir with the control mage with wave clear in the middle lane. I just feel like this is exactly what Legacy want in a team. In saying that, looking at what Direwolves have, I don't think they're sad whatsoever with that.
No. We'll see exactly what the Direwolves are going to be able to do against it, as now they're looking to fill Sharp out with his potential top lane counter pick here to what is looking like a Graves. Nautilus being hovered at the moment will be massively tanky towards the late game, but I'm looking over this Legacy side, and the AoE damage is terrifying.
Yeah, they have a lot of AoE damage, that's for sure. A lot of lockdown, and it's very hard to kill them as well.
It's just a lot of good things to be said about Legacy's team comp right now.
So's Direwolves. And I will say, even rounding out the comp the way they did just then, they've got pretty much every tool that they need out of that shed to smack some kids around in skirmishes and team fights.
I like how Sybil can put down the Lamb's Respite, and then you get Fantix's baby cage like right on top of it. It's like, you try and get out, you're going to be stunned, man. It's kind of cool. I like it. Circular type CCs.
Yeah.
Always exciting.
Don't know if that's how it works. That's
What
more of a
happens
you
if
stay in my heel, right? Like, that's actually...
Yeah, well, look, it is perplexing, but we'll see. No, but it's like, I don't know.
What I will
don't know.
say, though, is that like the Veigar actually having zone control is actually quite good for jungle fighting. Kindred as well, very good in the jungle. And Nautilus, to pick people out with that ultimate, means confined spaces, you'll be knocking everybody up, as does the Alistar. So Direwolves, their team composition right now, if they get through laning phase in mid lane in particular, looking very potent.
I'd really like to see if Direwolves continue with their strategy of going for a lane swap very early. They did that in the first game, worked out for them really well at the beginning of the game, not so much towards the end. I'd like to see if they continue with that in game number 2.
We'll see whether they're going to be able to. Of course, Alistar Lucian is going to be their bottom lane duo versus what could potentially be that Sivir Braum down there, unless we are going to have any swaps. And as far as that sort of head-to-head, like 2v2, how do you think that one goes? Because, of course, you know, it's a little bit interesting. Normally you see the Lucians paired up with the likes of the Braum or the Thresh for that lane dominance. How about with an Alistar?
Lucian kind of hides the weaknesses of the Alistar to an extent. I mean, Direwolves looking to level 2, Legacy looking to level 1.
Well, we'll see exactly what is going to happen. But, ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you. We want to get your tweets onto Fish's tweet wall. Use that hashtag LGCwin or the hashtag DWWin and let us know exactly which one of these teams you think is going to take out this semi-final. It's a best of 5. Legacy are already up 1 game, but the Direwolves came out swinging in game number 1 with a very different team comp and a different playstyle. And we're already onto the Rift with a Santa Veigar to bring us there. Beautiful, Fantix. Thank you for that.
That's actually a wonderful skin.
It's
Please,
so good.
please tell me Carbon is Santa Gragas.
The unintentional synergy between opposite teams.
Yes.
That would be amusing.
Tally already going aggressive here onto Sharp.
Oh, Sharp, fight him.
3 auto attacks
He's only
already
got a
down.
shotgun.
He's only got a shotgun.
Yeah,
that is like famous last words,
He's got a
isn't it?
massive anchor. You know, you can't bring a knife to a gunfight, but you can bring an anchor, I'm pretty sure.
You can't bring an anchor to a shotgun fight.
I don't think, yeah.
At what point did that make sense?
I think we've played rock, paper, scissors before. I haven't really played, you know, shotgun, anchor, knife before.
Played knifey spoony, but
We have definitely played some knifey spoony. As
you
Carbon,
call that an anchor.
he's actually the Fnatic skin this time around. And as you can see, starting towards the top side of the map, looks like we may not necessarily have any lane swaps as not too much deep vision has gone down.
So the question is, Direwolves trying to psych them out
yeah.
by actually having their bottom lane in the bottom lane and expecting Legacy to swap. Because honestly, I don't think Direwolves are unhappy with being in standard lanes, but as it was mentioned on the analyst desk, Kindred does love to farm that jungle and get Devourer. Very easy to do so in lane swaps.
I'd like to see if he can farm any more of those tree branches that Cookie was talking about. Apparently not very effective on the Kindred, but we are into the game. And it does look like this time no lane swaps coming out from these two teams. It will be Carbon starting on the top side of his jungle. We'll be able to take away his blue buff shortly. Kindred, on the other hand, starting at the red buff. And it's going to be Choo Choo's going up against Fantix. Fantix pulling out the Veigar in this game. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to put some hurt down onto Choo Choo's under Azir immediately. Trading between these two mid laners.
So we're looking at level 2 for Azir in particular. Starts to get a lot more trading threat onto a Veigar who starts to really feel it. And I mean, the counter to what is a Veigar has always been coined as assassin. So things like a Zed who can just get on top of you immediately. Very hard to stun people out. Azir's similar in his trade patterns early. So it's actually quite an impressive lane for Fantix to deal with, which is why he would have that teleport.
Well, of course, Sybil starting on a major camp here means he gets to his blue buff a little bit faster. You can see Gragas actually sticking towards the top side as he moves in to take down this Rift Scuttler. It's the bottom side one that is marked up, though, and we'll see whether Sybil is going to be able to pick that one up. Grab himself a little bit of extra damage early on with that passive starting to stack.
I will also give a reference point for everybody who doesn't play the mid lane. It's essentially the cookie counter. And I'm not referring to the Helion's jungler. I'm saying that you keep your eye on the scoreboard down the bottom and keep tabs on how many cookies they have available to them, because the one with the least amount is winning, losing.
So
Heavily.
Hellions always win this matchup. That's what you're saying?
They've always got another cookie. Yeah, the big thing here, of course, keep note, 2 cookies to 0. Azir is destroying Fantix. Health bars mean nothing in this.
Wow. I do like cookies, so I'm definitely all for your little analogy.
Unfortunately, 2 have already crumbled in the mid lane. Fantix chugging those as fast as possible. It's Carbon. His red buff is gone. Sneaky little invade coming in from Sybil there. Will be able to take that for himself, so he does get a 3 buff start.
Yeah, nicely played by the Kindred. Utilizing starting on a camp.
And this bottom lane, King and Regret going up against Raze and Kuda. Nice spell shield coming out from King there. I believe he was able to dodge out the Pulverize as well.
Mentioned it in the first game as well. Looking at Sivir into Alistar actually is good for the Sivir. And the assumption that Kuden does the full combo, not half of it, as King. It's a red buff on Kindred.
Yeah, Regret actually getting slowed down quite a lot. There's the Wolf and the headbutt. Pulverize comes in. Exhaust down onto Regret. Heal has to be used, but he is going to survive for now as King, with the help of some minions, is going to get some damage back onto Sybil. Nice early gank, but not going to quite get what they're looking for.
And you can see Carbon's immediate reaction is to invade on the top side. So getting what they can, Legacy. They do well to live, but that is a heal and flash burn for only the exhaust of the Direwolves. Actually a massive victory here for Direwolves. If they can keep pressure up off the back of it.
Well, we'll have to see if they can take advantage of those summoners as Fantix has to immediately teleport back into this lane. Doesn't have any more cookies for himself, but instead has that
only a level
refillable
1
potion.
strategy, don't worry.
Only level 1, but Carbon looking for a little bit of a strategy of his own. Will flash over the Stunwolf of Fantix, and actually First Blood goes on over to Choo Choo's.
That was so beautifully executed.
That was actually amazing from Carbon, I will admit. He went over the cage, inside to the middle of it, so that he didn't get stunned and could get as maximum amount of damage off as possible. Sure, Choo Choo's got the kill, but Carbon MVP in that gank.
That was right on the edge of the body slam knock-up radius as well. I mean, Fantix put down that cage expertly, but Carbon did exactly what he needed to try and lock down that Veigar. Beautifully done.
To even add a step further, though, it's a very aggressive cooldown reduction rush from Veigar, going for the Forbidden Idol, I believe it is?
Yep,
Yeah.
that is it.
So he's got his cooldown reduction, he's got his mana regeneration, nothing to keep him alive. And that's against the Azir, who was already winning that lane handily.
I'm going to take a look at the bottom lane now. It's King and Regret 9 moving on towards the Krugs, taking those away. So just farm up a little bit for themselves as Raze and Kuden push towards the turret.
Yeah, of course, a bit of an advantage here for the Direwolves bottom lane, making use of that early gank out of Sybil. Has got some work done, 12 CS in the lead now for the Lucian and the Alistar, but that wave pushing towards Sivir, and we'll see whether King is going to be able to get a little bit more back. Of course, without those summoner spells in the bottom lane means they have to give a little bit more respect.
And it's Choo Choo's now in the mid lane, waiting for Fantix to stroll back on in.
Is it a stroll? It's more of a hop, isn't
It's
it?
a strange hop.
He's actually a rabbit.
He
Like, it's
is.
the closest to a rabbit you'll get in a champion with the walk animation. Look at him.
I don't know. Cottontail Teemo is pretty
Bop,
convincing.
Bop, bop, bop.
Yep.
That's more rabbit than Cottontail Teemo.
Damn right it is.
Really?
Oh,
Like actual rabbit. Well, Tally,
Go.
clearing all of these minions out as they're thrown into him by Sharp. Nautilus, the man with the anchor himself, able to at least weather the shotgun.
He's been showing me why you don't bring that anchor to the shotgun fight. I'm sorry, Sharp.
it's also
Well.
a big CS advantage, but Sybil's actually here. Oh, she's stuck.
Yep, Baby Cage is in there, has to use the flash to avoid the stun, but is it going to be enough as Wolf is going to jump through? Flash from Sybil! Oh, that was beautifully done. Even had the Lance Respite if he needed it, and Direwolves answer back in the mid lane.
Yeah, Kindred, a very mobile champion, able to lock down Sybil. Choose evidently not having a Sand Soldier or having the E available. No way to escape that. Aggressive but appropriate from Sybil.
With that, they even up the kills in the mid lane, 1-1. So take a look at the items really quickly. Choo Choo's is looking to try and rush that Abyssal Scepter. Still only the Forbidden Idol down in the bottom lane. As Carbon being really aggressive inside of Sybil's jungle, trying to steal away the red buff, is able to get it, jump
Sybil's
straight on
got no
top of
mana.
him. He does have no mana. Have to see if he can pop
got
his
no mana.
ultimate. No mana at all. Gets knocked backwards. Carbon slaps him one final time and will pick up a solo kill in the jungle.
Alley-oops it to himself here as Sharp going back in on Tally. That was very cute. Carbon really taking matters into his own hands this game.
And I absolutely just heard Carbon yelling out the back there. Sybil, again, I'm going to say no mana. Uses that jump and then tries to predict a body slam by juking to the left or trying to predict the keg. Patience for Carbon. Gets himself an easy kill. And once again, reactive play. Sees the gank. Now he's ganking himself.
Well, ult goes down onto Tally here on the top side of Sharp, completely out of mana. That's the shield gone. It's Carbon. Can't tank this turret for long. They get the flash, and they think that's going to be enough.
It's definitely going to be enough. Of course, Tally at least going to force the teleport, you'd imagine, to that top lane. And we'll see. No, wants to stay. Greedy.
Yeah. Well, Cuden is going to get the knock up. There's Regret. Going to throw down the door. Ray's just soaking damage. The exhaust down onto King as they exchange those summoner spells here towards the bottom side. Stun down onto Raze now as well as Cuden. Doesn't have level 6. Raze has to use the flash. Boomerang comes in. King with the aggressive play. Now throws down the ultimate. Cuden might be in trouble as both teleports are going to be popped right underneath this turret. Is it going to be enough now as Sharp 1v3? Sybil's going to make his way in as well, and the Lamb's Respite could possibly go down. There it is.
It's going to be put down, but we have to see if it's enough to keep them alive as the heal's going to come out. Tally picks up a kill. Cuden tries to go back in, but it's a triple kill coming out for Tally. And just like that, Legacy are 6-1 9 minutes into this game.
This just became a massacre out of nowhere. Direwolves trying to be proactive. It doesn't end here, though. Fantix even being pressured. This is just a whole map effort from Legacy. And this is the team we expected coming into the semifinals.
Legacy look like they have 3 more members on the Rift right now. Even in the mid lane, Fantix saying, where have all my mates gone? And unfortunately, just weren't able to make that one happen. Let's have a look at it again.
And this is honestly, I did say this, a big mistake from Cuden. Doesn't actually even knock Regret anywhere and wastes 2 of his spells. Raze gets his culling cancelled by the stun. And this is where the teleports start to come out. Remember, Raze flashed with force, so King being able to respond was immaculate. The teleports actually stopped the dive, I will say, onto Cuden. And Lamb's Respite, whilst it was necessary for Sharp or for Sybil, is actually going to save the rest of the team. So, as good as it was, just as bad. Tally timing his burst with the ultimate ending. Triple kill immediately.
It was looking really close as well. Sybil was almost able to get that final tick of damage down on the King. Not quite. As we're going to take a look at the score right now, Legacy have bursted onto the Rift as Tally, he's actually going to get dived in. Nice flash coming up from Tally.
Really nice.
Mechanical brilliance, I will say, from Tally there. Not exactly safe.
Yeah, Sybil's going to come in.
He's got no matter, he's dead.
Down. That's
what
massive damage. Tally just destroys him. Death's Dance Man already completed. He's 4-0.
No, it wasn't even that. Sybil just had no mana. He didn't even have his ultimate. That was, look, it was a mistake.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Oh, 4-0 Tally on this Graves right now. I can tell why it was banned in game number 1.
Whoa. Legacy Tally showing what he's made of. Cuden, I don't think, even though you're level 6 and have your ultimate now, you might not want to try and fight this guy. That's a lot of damage, and that's a massive Carbon jumping on top of the Alistar, as Tally is going to be able to take it down. Raze popped his heal, was not in range to heal up Cuden, and now he's in a lot of trouble. No flash available. A double kill for Tally. He has 6 kills in this game. Legacy are dominating right now.
He's making Graves' Q name seem so incredibly accurate. It is the end of the line right now for anyone towards the bottom side of the map. It's just ridiculous.
6-0.
Yeah.
Out of 9 kills that Legacy have. And that's not to say that he's doing everything. But he's the benefactor of a lot of that gold for Legacy right now. And no surprises if you think about Legacy's win condition. It's always that top laner winning a 1v1 and working off it. Once he gets that Phantom Dancer, Invincible is going to be a damage-dealing top laner.
And right now, it's a 1v anything. Honestly, it's like whoever comes towards Tally, he is happy to go up against them. Now building that Zeal as well as the dagger. We'll see which one of the Zeal items he is going to head towards. Could be the Phantom Dancer, could of course be the Rapid Fire Cannon there as well for some extra auto attack range. I believe Phantom Dancer is the general choice for the Graves on the top side of the map.
It is. I will say though, Legacy, keep in mind their rotation they've just made by having Tally go bot lane. So they're trying to accelerate top. Yep. Even though Graves is 6-0 and could effectively win a one-on-one, having a numbers advantage favors them, as this is a 1v2.
End of the line, man.
He's looking for that 1-on-2 here. Will miss his ultimate. Does get locked up by Cuden, but it doesn't look like he matters about that too much or cares at all. Look at Raze. He's going to get chased down by Cuden. I mean, chased down by Carbon, as Tally is just going to rain the pain onto Cuden. Takes it down. In fact, gets a double kill, as it looks like Raze ran into the turret.
Yeah.
Carbon didn't even get an assist.
No, Raze executes himself so that there was no assist. It was a best case scenario for Direwolves, I will admit that much. does still give an extra 2 kills. As we can see this one again, as unfortunate as it is that the ultimate missed, Tally still crit beforehand, so, you know, gets a bit of RNG in his favor there. And no turret to save Kuden. Does his thing and dies up the top side as Raze says, I'm not giving you any assists.
Carvin's like, I'm going to watch you die from point-blank range.
I was expecting a dance, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, that gives 2 kills on over to Tally. He's got 8 of them now. He is so far ahead. Sybil's health bar is melting underneath this turret. Legacy not really the pressure. Oh no, Kuden.
It's happened again.
That quick roll was ridiculous.
That was well done from Tally, but I don't even think it was going to connect from Kuden.
Oh, that's disappointing.
For what it's worth, I can see Sharp smiling from ear to ear in the bottom as well as a dive top lane.
Yeah, Ray's actually going to get exhausted here as Regret is going to miss it based on the flash. Nice dodge out of the way of the Glacial Fissure, but I don't think it's going to be enough as King, just happy to tank up the turret, picks up the kill on the AD carry, and they'll finish off the turret as well.
Yeah, top lane turret going to fall. 12-1 in kills right now. Direwolves have done well to assure it's not a perfect game, honestly, at this stage, as they are being run over by this Legacy Steam train.
They have shown what they can do in these standard lanes, and look at this, Tally not relieving any of that pressure. Sharp is going to take a bit of damage. Carver's going to jump up here as well. Just the Alistar to try and deter them away, and they successfully do so. These 2 mid lane out of turrets as well. They're still standing for these 2 teams, but look at the lead that Legacy have. Wow, Vantix has to flash away.
Yeah.
Legacy have a 9,000 gold lead just 15 minutes into this game.
Legacy, man. Oh my god. One thing that this team can do is use advantages and leads to try and close out games effectively. Direwolves, I think they've got the longest game that they've won in the OPL, so there's always an opportunity to bring it back with this resilient side. They've got the Veigar for scaling, but it's never going to win that early game, and in fact losing lane effectively.
Yeah, well, Cookie is going to tweet in, I want to bring Tally when I go back to Korea. He is deserved to play in the LCK.
Never changed, man.
Never changed, Cookie. You're the best.
Wonderful human being.
Next time, use the hashtag IMOPL, though.
He actually said IMOPL before as well, and he missed the A. It's adorable.
Oh, my goodness. Speaking of Tally, though, he's finished off that Phantom Dancer. Got himself some boots there as well. Mercury Treads, to be exact. Sun Turret is going to fall down. That is not going to count towards the Direwolves tower counter.
Once
really
again,
need to find some.
We have to keep in mind that Veigar will start to win at least the mid 1v1. So Legacy may want to group around their mid laner and start making some plays. Well, there's the opportunity for Fantix to put down some serious deeps, as you can see.
Oh, Regret throwing up the door. Actually looking aggressive here as the rest of Legacy are actually collapsing. Tally off to the side. Yeah, that is a 5 versus 1 unless the team can get their collateral damage for a lot. In there is a Baby Cage going to block everyone else off. Tally flashes over the top, gets the heal. There's the Lamb's Respite. Might actually save Regret as everyone's going to get pushed off. And Choo Choo's with massive damage. Legacy with the team fight execution.
Knocking them into a choke point and then pushing them all out together once the burst was down. Legacy right now are playing a force the Lamb's Respite, then force them out of it and kill them.
And they're doing it fantastically. Tally actually teleported into the back there looking for a flank. Direwolves try to collapse on him, not enough. And look at this, they've taken 1 turret. They're looking for the first inhibitor turret of the game. Tally's dashing forward. It's going to be Choo Choo's that gets the last Sand Soldier off to pick up that kill. And Legacy, they're just steamrolling through the base right now.
13,000 gold at 17 minutes. Inhibitor's going to fall down as well. Legacy looking so incredibly dominant, even pushing forward for some cheeky auto attacks. Now going to find their way out, and this whole map belongs to Legacy.
Ooh.
Game 2 in a semi-final, and this is the Legacy that shows up. My god. Actually, a bit caught out here to an extent.
Well, they're just focusing on this turret right now as Carvin just happy to tank it up. Sybil getting taken down very low as Tally just right in amongst it. Quick draws around. There's the last auto. He's stuck inside the Baby Cage, but who's stuck in there with who? Kuden gets destroyed. The Graves finally gets shut down, but at what cost? That is more of the base destroyed.
Legacy Esports are going off right now. This gold lead with these inhibitors down, they could look to just end, honestly.
They definitely are. It's just 18 minutes into this game. Legacy are looking for a sub-20 finish. 2 minutes left of the clock before even a surrender could take place. They've taken their one Nexus turret, working on the second. Everyone from Direwolves is up. They're going to try and contest this. Kuden is going to try and jump in. Nexus is taking some damage. Regret 9 will eventually fall. Carbon is the next turret.
They haven't got it.
They haven't got it yet. Direwolves looking to push them off. They take down King. Only Choo-Choo's left. And then there's head and can simply walk towards your Nexus and try and end the game. It is really scary, but look at this. We're back onto Summoner's Rift, and Choo-Choo's is trying to run away.
There's the flash.
Kuden
Nailed
says
it.
no.
Yeah, Direwolves, they at least get some cleanup. Remember, just before we had the pause, pretty much everybody from Legacy died trying to end the game.
Yep.
Aggressively end the game, and not to be, but take stock of the game. Pretty far ahead, all things considered, as this is how Choose kills Raze with one bop of a soldier.
That was a very swift auto cancel, though, you have to say. Auto into the queue. Liked it. 1 billion damage.
Well, after the chaos that we saw inside of Direwolves base, Legacy still 12,000 gold ahead. Well, I shouldn't say still. They are now 12,000 gold ahead. This man, Tally, has picked up a Hex Shrinker and his Merc Threads as well. He is massive right now. And we saw earlier, after Sybil was able to pick up that final kill, it really shows how well Legacy have contained Direwolves based on the fact that 20 minutes in, Sybil has 7 stacks on his Stated Devourer. Or on his just his regular Devourer, I should say. That is not good.
That is really sad.
He's not a jungler at the moment, he's a lane assist. So, effectively another carry, I suppose, on the team, being that he is Kindred after all. I was going to say, who's getting that red?
It's definitely Tally. 11, 1, and 4. He can demand whatever the heck he wants right now. You know, he's like that really wanted actor in the movie. Just can get basically whichever part he wants.
We mentioned how susceptibly tanky he is. Not only does he now have...
Look at it now.
No, it's an old one.
It's like that guy that everyone wants to have there because he can do anything.
Yeah, look, it was general. Sybil trying to defend the Nexus right now as Carbon in there with the body slam. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, we've got the Glacial Fissure going down. Sharp's going to get stunned and destroyed. That is not a tank right there in that Nautilus. There's now Regret flashing forward. There's the point-blank Winter's Bite as Tally gets a big combo from Fantix, but it's not quite enough. And Carbon just going to say, I'm going to take down your Nexus, mate. Deal with me. Baby Cage is in there. Carbon says, I don't care. I can still smack your Nexus around. Not even going to fall until the very end. As now everyone says, we want to finish it. Legacy going to take game 2.
Legacy coming into this second game, leaps and bounds above what we saw in the first in the way they handled the game. Direwolves, I feel like looking at that, they may want to actually consider continuing to lane swap.
Yeah.
And we talked about how Direwolves had this very positive attitude where they were down so much. It was in a pause. They were still laughing, though. They looked like they had smiles on their face as well. Look at the attitude from Legacy. Game's over. That was a massive stomp from them. And they are immediately discussing about that game. Talking about it, making sure they're ready for Game 3. Both these teams with great attitudes coming to the series.
It's
Yeah,
simple,
it's
right?
business.
Game's over, the series isn't.
Yeah.
Legacy, they know what they're here to do, and they're here to win the 3 games. Direwolves, it's almost like the response of losing the game that handily is to actually laugh it off, because you need to feel good coming into the 3rd game. And let's think about this, right? The strategy that Direwolves have had all split in best of 3s is go down 1 game, win the next. In a best of 5, they can lose 2 games. Now they're actually against the wall. Now's the moment the Direwolves bounce
You
back.
hurt the Wolves. You have to think that the pack is going to come after you.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there's got to be some sort of analogy as when the wolf is down or something like that. It's not coming to mind right now, but the Direwolves have been known as a team that can fight back, and we'll see whether it is going to be enough. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to throw it back to the analysis desk to break down what was a pretty one-sided affair from Legacy.
Thank you so much, Atlas. I know that game, let me just tell you, Tally's
fun.
Graves, that was an impressive performance.
The thing is we already called this. Like, Pastry and I, we had this conversation. You asked, what do you change? Do you change at the Lulu pick? Did you put Sharp on some sort of carry? Do you look for the 1v1? We said no. Do not do standard lanes.
To my credit, right, they picked standard lanes with a Nautilus top lane. That was not the carry I'm looking for, Sharp.
I don't have to give him a carry. Like, Nautilus is a good champion, but, like, it's just too much to give this team standard lanes.
Don't standard lanes against Legacy. They want to do it. They're super practiced. I mean, it's you lane swap game, they almost win that one.
Yeah.
Standard lane game, they literally get smashed in 20 minutes.
As a caveat, by the way, I said, like, pick a ganking jungler and then match the 2v2. Don't pick Kindred and try and out-farm a Gragas in standard lanes because you're just going to get ganked.
Well, let's actually look at this game, right? Because I think there's a couple of things that went wrong here for Direwolves. I'm going to start with the mid lane. Perfection, quite greedy, burns his teleport early, he shoves the wave out, but doesn't shove it completely. Gets it half frozen on him and has to teleport back to the minion wave. Gets ganked by Carbon, which means they don't have teleport advantage. They should have teleport advantage because remember, against a Viger, you have to take cleanse. So they knew they had teleport advantage. And then they try and make a play bottom lane. Yep. And it just doesn't make sense to me. You're already losing 2 lanes because Nautilus isn't going to pick Graves. You're losing bottom lane because of no aggressive play. And you don't have teleport advantage. Why make the teleport play? I just don't get it.
No, I don't know.
You got Alistar, you got some Lucian, you think you can get some aggression happening, and then
my favorite
Tally
part
gets
was
a
when
triple kill.
Alistar just like walked back in. Like was totally fine.
Oh yeah,
He
that's the like I have to save my friend's support thing. I've been through that. I know what that's like, but like unfortunately he just gives Tally his 3rd kill of that exchange. And as we've seen, Graves decides to kill everyone in that game. Like
the triple kill.
Yeah.
He's a monster. Like there's
He's angry
honestly
Poppy.
no other way to say it. Oh yeah, you wanted your Poppy rank, go for it.
So we've talked about Poppy. It's been banned both games. Both top laners are really good at it, so it makes sense. Like, take it away. Don't give them the Poppy. We had Echo. That's poor man's Poppy. Had that in game number 1 for Legacy.
I like how
looking
that's
good.
Echo, poor
so you
man's
can see it, right?
Poppy.
Like bruises, like tanky champions that do decent damage, but are really tanky with their builds. Then you have Graves. Graves is kind of actually not that much like Poppy, but he's quite tanky for a guy that does a lot of damage. He's like reverse Poppy. He does a lot of damage and is kind of tanky, whereas Poppy is really tanky and does quite a lot of damage for someone that's super tanky. And you saw what happened. Like, he's never going to die. He's going to kill everyone. It was 6-0 after that triple kill in bottom lane.
Touching very quickly back on Graves, because I do agree it was a big power pick, obviously, for Tally to perform on that, but also how it was utilized as a flex pick. What I find very curious is neither of these junglers are touching Nidalee. Nidalee's been let through the drafts both times, and it's a priority over Kindred when Gragas acts as a direct counter to Kindred. And there's been little success this series. I would love to just see someone pick up the Nidalee and just take, like, if you're going to continue to do Kindred, take the Nidalee and 1v1 at our own game.
See, I understand like the Poppy flex pick in theory, but let me tell you, I know Tally. James is quite an outspoken fellow.
You saw the Graves and you're like, that's top.
He was told he wasn't allowed to play it, and then he proved to his team apparently through repetitive hard work and perseverance, which I like in a man, and has proved that it is a very strong champion for himself, and that's why it's being banned. I actually think that as far as like Tally goes, like he won MVP. In my mind, he could have been a rookie as well because he hadn't played top lane in OPL split either. I wanted to give him that award. As far as most improved players go, like give him that one as well. But you can't really because he wasn't a top laner last time around. This man, like, he doesn't get himself ahead. That's my only criticism. Like, Carbon gets him ahead every single time. They dive top lane a lot together. But you give him a 100 gold lead. He will convert it into a win like 9 times out of 10.
And that's exactly why you can't give Legacy standard lanes. Tally does work, especially on these like bigger carry style champions. I just feel like Divals picked themselves a good comp that wanted to lane swap, didn't lane swap, and then Legacy did Legacy things, and the game was very difficult.
I expect we'll see a lane swap next.
And let me tell you, if Legacy play that way, they'll win the whole damn thing, because that was an impressive game. However, guys, we do have Game 3 coming up around the corner.